Hello and welcome to Decoding Attachment Styles. On this segment, we are going to be answering some of the questions that you've sent in. These questions were sent in on Instagram, and let's just get right to it. If you haven't as yet, please hit the subscribe button. There's so many podcasts coming out every week. You don't want to miss any of them. We're dissecting, decoding attachment styles and helping you to be a little bit more aware of what you're dealing with in your relationships so that you could make better decisions and choices when it comes to your mental health, your well-being, and what might be best for you and your particular circumstances. Because remember, even though the relationships may seem similar, they are very, very different dynamics that we're playing out here. So all avoidant attached persons are not the same. All anxious attached persons are not the same. And all secure attached persons are not the same. So you want to take what information is going to work for you and your particular case and leave what does not resonate. Let's get to the questions. This one is on how to handle being blocked after ex-partner trying to dump you over a small argument. So what I take from this is that you've had a small argument, or what you believe to be a small argument, in your eyes, which matters, it matters. However, your partner or ex blocked you. Now, it doesn't say if you've been blocked on phone or, text messages, if you've been blocked on social media, email, it doesn't say. But let's talk about this a little bit. I remember when my partner and I went through a breakup, and I think he unfollowed me or unfriended me, one of the two, but we were no longer connected on social media. And he also archived our photographs. And at that time, I was anxiously attached. So at that time, I knew how many followers he had, how many people he was following. I noticed that the pictures were gone. It broke my heart. I didn't say anything to him. I was just watching these things. Now, when we got back together, I never talked about it. I just kind of left it. Eventually, funny thing is that about 2 or 3 days after he archived the photos, it went right back up. If he blocked me or not via text, I don't know, because I never messaged him or never called him. Now, if you have been blocked on message or calls, that would be because you tried calling them again or you tried texting them again. If they disconnected you from social media, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the relationship. Sometimes people just feel like it's kind of like closing a door. I don't want to deal with this right now. I don't want this person in my face right now. It doesn't mean that they don't love you or they don't care about you. Feelings just don't disappear like that. What it is a signal of is that this person is feeling overwhelmed and needs some goddamn space. Okay? Is it space from you? Not necessarily so. It is space from an emotion, the overwhelm. I think we forget that human beings, they have feelings, right? It's feelings that we run towards, feelings that we run away from. An avoidant attached person isn't running away from happiness. They're not running away from a joyful, fulfilling relationship. No, what they're running away from is the pressures that comes in these relationship dynamics that they might get into. Now, not all anxious attached persons are unable to manage their emotions. Not all anxious attached persons don't have relationships or other things going on outside of their lives. So relationships can work with an anxious attached person. They can work with an avoidant attached person. But it depends on if that particular human being is doing some healing work where someone is saying to them, and they're taking this into consideration, that they need to have a life outside of the relationship, and they also don't need to be afraid that the relationship is going to consume them. Getting back to the blocking, it's a human reaction. Is it mature reaction? It is not up to us to decide what is best for another human being or not. They get to decide. What you get to decide on is how are you going to approach this moving forward. Now, in my case, when I was unfollowed, yes, it stung. I'm not going to say it didn't sting, especially since I was still anxiously attached, doing my healing work, moving towards secure. So that meant that I had to get in my head and say, you know what? This isn't personal. He's not doing this to hurt me. He's doing this to protect himself. Get out of it. Stop looking at his social media. Stop looking at the phone, wondering, did he call? Did he text? So I started to monitor myself. I started to say to myself, you know what? Yeah, I feel like looking at the phone to see if he texted, but I'm going to give myself 5 minutes and see how that works. See if I'll be okay, if anything changes. And then after 5 minutes, if nothing changed, I said, you know what? I could give myself another 5 minutes. So you can do the same thing. Monitor yourself. You can be your own coach. And you know, the truth of the matter is you have no choice. You're the only one who's living in your head. So learn how to self-soothe during this time, because you're asking, how do I handle being blocked after he tries to dump you over a small argument? And I want to address the small argument. The way you handle being blocked is by knowing that if someone blocks you, yes, it's hurtful. It triggers all sorts of childhood wounds, the ones where we were not heard, we were not understood. We had to over-explain ourselves or feel the need to go in and explain that this isn't what I was trying to do, which I would imagine that's what you're going through right now as well. You want an opportunity to say, I wasn't wrong and I don't deserve being blocked. However, when we can look at the other human being and say, you know what, you have the same rights as I do. If you choose to block me, I can know for myself. It doesn't mean that you suddenly switched off something that says you love me. That's not how feelings work. You talk yourself down. You start to monitor your mind and your actions. So you monitor your mind saying, oh, I should check on their social media. Did they add somebody else? Did they unfollow someone else? And then make an agreement with yourself that you're going to try for 5 minutes not to do that. And when you get to that 5 minutes, say, you know what? It wasn't so bad, because it really isn't. And let me try for another 5 minutes. Knowing, writing it repeatedly over and over on a piece of paper, if you can. This does not, whatever I see on social media, does not tell a story of how this person feels about me. It does not tell a story. It does not tell the full story. It does not tell how all of your incredible experiences amounted to this. It does not say much. So try not to get sucked into it. Now, we said it's a small argument. We don't get to decide how a person feels about an argument. For us, it might not be a big thing. It might be something that we can handle. The thing about those who lean more anxious and those who are securely attached is that they are quite resilient. They know that things can happen and they can deal with it. And they've been doing this all of their lives. Someone with an avoidant attachment style, they learn that things can happen. Let's try not to make it happen. I'm just going to stay away from it. Okay? It doesn't mean that we feel the same way about our situation. So what might be a small argument for one person might be so incredibly overwhelming for another human being. We cannot measure another person's feelings to our own. We can have empathy by saying, I don't know exactly what this is feeling like because I've not dealt with an exact kind of situation in my life. However, I can remember feeling this way when experiencing something different. I remember the feeling. So in having empathy, it's to connect with the feeling, not the situation, not the experience. Because experiences, situations are different. Why are they different? We grew up in different homes. different belief systems. We saw things with different eyes. We experienced them with a different feeling. So at no point will you find two human beings being exactly the same. And one of the big problems that we have in relationships today is we meet another person. We love who this person is. We like being with them. And after a while, we want to change them and make them more like us. And it's putting up such a, people are fighting and relationships are breaking apart, mainly because we're unable to see that we're dealing with a completely different human being. Not a bad human being, not a completely wonderful human being. We're dealing with a human being who struggles with their human struggles, like we have our own struggles to go through. Okay, hope that answers your question. Let's move on to the next one. My fearful, avoidant, attached person. Let's try using that label. It's not a fearful avoidant. It is not a dismissive avoidant. It's not an anxious person. We all have anxiety. We're all anxious people from time to time, depending on our situation. It's not a fearful avoidant. It's an attachment. It is not. We don't look at someone and say, oh, that's a fever. Right? It's just a person with a fever. Or we don't say, that's a COVID. It's a person with COVID. So this is an attachment style. It's a personality. It's a personality that can change, that can be healed. Just like in many cases, people recovered from COVID. Okay? So it's something that a person develops in their childhood, and it's a part of their personality. It is not the person. So, rephrase, my fearful avoidant, or my partner who has fearful avoidant attachment wants me. We are meeting and having physical relations. He says he cannot offer a relationship. Now, I'm not one to tell you what you should and you shouldn't do. This is entirely up to you and what you want to do. I'm just here to say this is your situation and you have a choice. If you've met someone, you know they have a fearful avoidant attachment style, and you're having sex with them, it is entirely up to you to decide on if this is what works for you. But here's a person who you're seeing how they show up, right? In saying, we're meeting, we're having sex, we're having physical relations. And then you're saying that this person has told you that he cannot offer a relationship. In many of these relationships, I have found the anxious attached person has told me this, the avoidantly attached person has told me this. The avoidant has always stated, I'm not sure of what I want. These are some of the things that you would have heard. I'm not sure of what I want right now. I'd like to take things slow. I like you, but I'd like to get to know you a little better. I like hanging out with you, but I'm not ready for a commitment. I can see this going somewhere, but I don't want to rush things. I just got out of a relationship. I don't think I should be in another one right now. I can't offer a relationship, like this person says. These are some of the things that we've heard time and time again where an avoidant attached person has said that. Now, I also know of dating situations where people have said exactly these things, and they were met with a response like, thank you for letting me know. I wish you all the best. That's the perfect response if you want a relationship and the person that you're talking to is saying any of these things. If they're saying, I'm not really sure, I want to take things slow, and you want to take things faster, it doesn't work for you, you can say, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. I wish you all the best. And then you leave. What happens in many cases as well is that a person may hear someone say these things and they think, oh, but maybe they'll change their mind. Maybe in time, they're going to see that I'm a good match for them. I'm good for them. One of the things that triggers an anxious attached person into trying harder is when they know that this person has just been out of a relationship, their heart's broken, and they want to prove, especially if the person says, I just keep going through these relationships and I'm with people and it never works out. And now the anxious attached may feel like, oh, I can prove that I'm different. I can step in and save the day. And so I'm going to try harder and harder and harder to show this person that they do deserve to be loved, which is true, but it is not your job. It is not your responsibility to step in and save anyone. When I met Larry, we should not have been in a relationship. The great thing about us at that time is that I had been in therapy. I'd been doing my healing work. He's been in therapy. He was doing his healing work. So we met on a dating app. But the first conversation, we knew that we were not ready to be dating. And so we decided to just hang out, be friends. We knew at the back of our minds that we were dealing with our breakups. I had just gone through a breakup. He had just gone through a breakup. And so we were each other's confidant, companion. We knew what was going on. And a year after, we broke up. And it made sense. It made sense why we would break up, because we did not take our time then to build a strong enough foundation. We had a lot of memories. There was a lot of compassion and care and respect in the relationship, but we had not had the time to pause and work through our past issues. We had not had enough time to work through damage that was done in past relationships, and also to stop and take accountability of how we showed up. Now we are together, but we did that work before we got to where we are. We took the time to heal and let go of past relationships. And it was a slow process, but it was done. And we learned how to show up for each other. So when you're meeting someone and they've just gone through a breakup, it is a good indicator that that is not the relationship for you right now. You've got to allow the other person to go through their process, to go through their healing process and let go of whatever it is in their past they need to let go. And are they going to let go of absolutely everything right away? No, it takes time, depending on how damaging the past relationships were, how much healing work they're doing. Are they working with a therapist or a coach on these things? And, allow that person to go through their process. But if someone is saying to you, I cannot offer a relationship, let's say Larry had said that, I can't offer you a relationship, I'd be out. I'd say, thank you for letting me know. I'm not going to waste my time trying to prove something to you because I don't have to. And this happens when you've become securely attached and you know what you bring to a relationship. You know that you don't have to be hounding down, chasing another human being to pin them down and say, I can be good for you. If they don't see it now, they haven't done enough healing work to see it next week or next month. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm saying in order for them to be able to see your worth and your value, you can't make them. They need someone who is a professional in this field to show them that there is a different way of thinking, that they don't have to hold on to their past. It's not something that you can do. Even if you are a partner and you are a therapist, you won't be able to get through to your partner by being their therapist, because they're going to just believe that you've got an agenda if you try to help them to see things your way. And they are going to be right. Okay, so if you're having physical relations with this person and they are telling you that they cannot offer a relationship, when you are with someone who is being honest, they're not manipulating you, they're not lying to you, they're not love bombing you, they've told you the fact. Now you get to decide if you want to continue a relationship of any sort, physical or not, with them. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to do this again next week. Feel free to send me your questions. You could send them to my email, annalisabahadur@gmail.com, or anywhere across social media. Until next week, and don't forget, hit the subscribe button. I'm Annalisa Bahadur.